I-Team exclusive. We have the discipline files for State Police Troop A, which is responsible for the 8 counties of Western New York.
These files show the state has cited dozens of troopers for misconduct, but they remain on the force.
Our I-Team spent months combing through these files and traveling to Albany, taking our search for accountability to State Police Superintendent Kevin Bruin, who just last week announced his resignation effective October 19th.
Tonight, the I-Team's Ed Dranch and producer Sean Mickey dig into these documents.
These are the damning documents state police never wanted you to see, obtained by the 7 News I-Team from a local district attorney's office because state police have denied local media's open records request for these same documents. 2011, Trooper Michael Catanzaro abused his position, contacting someone under false pretenses to promote personal interest of a friend, suspended 60 days. 2019, Trooper Brandon Voss, often called Super Trooper by some lawyers, had 3 misconducts against him in 3 months over his behavior dealing with the public and police protocols, suspended 30 days. 2008, Trooper Aaron Destro took pictures in his uniform with his penis exposed, docked 5 days annual leave, but then in 2010 he had sex on the job, suspended 8 days.
But they're all still on the job.
That's right.
Why is that?
Well, because we've done an evaluative process.
In late August, the I-Team hit the road for Albany to get answers from the top. Kevin Bruin is the superintendent of state police. He wouldn't comment on specific cases, but says the troopers' past behavior and their professional qualities would determine their punishment.
The mere fact that somebody's made mistakes, done things that are wrong, does not necessarily mean they're irrecoverable or irredeemable.
But to what extent? In 2009, internal documents obtained by the I-Team show Trooper Sergio Cruz was counseled because his DWI arrests were substandard, only making 2 that year. In 2020, Cruz only made 1 DWI arrest, cited for being below standard. But in a 2019 notice of suspension, the I-Team discovered Trooper Cruz himself was arrested for DWI, accused of drinking beer, vodka soda, and at least 3 shots over a 9-hour period, and driving, hurting someone who was in the other car police say he rear-ended. Despite the charges, Cruz was acquitted by a judge, the Erie County DA telling state police there was insufficient evidence. But state police documents say Cruz was in all likelihood intoxicated at the time of this crash. Trooper Cruz was told he used poor judgment and suspended for 90 days. He was put on probation for a year, told he might be fired in that time, but he's still on the job, making nearly $130,000 a year.
With a 60 or 90-day suspension, should a trooper or a ranking member feel as if it's really just kind of a slap on the wrist?
I don't think 90-day suspension is a slap on the wrist. That means no pay for 90 days. It means no health insurance. It means a lot.
It's painful, but at the end of the day, they're still keeping their jobs.
Correct. They have. If you're in that range of penalty, you are just short of getting terminated.
What would lead to termination?
Well, any number of things can lead to termination. There have been, any number of things can lead to termination. I can think of one case where where a weapon was misused, not as it relates to the public, just not safely dealt with. And that it was serious enough where that was termination.
And I just want to make sure that we're clear here. What would rise to the level of dismissal?
Again, everything is fact specific. It can be relatively minor if you've done it 40 times. I'm trying to be, a repeated minor act where you've not taken it seriously can result in termination.
Bruin says the punishment should fit the misconduct. So how many troopers have actually been terminated? Since 2013, 35 troopers have resigned, 34 have retired, each in the face of termination, each keeping their pensions. 7 have been fired outright.
Baked into our core DNA is accountability. And so when you violate the rules, we investigate. If we're satisfied you violated rules or regulations, we punish you. That means we have a system that results in discipline.
But it's discipline at a very different level. It's a matter of suspension of 60 days, a matter of having vacation days withheld. It sounds like there are very few terminations.
I would hope there'd be very few terminations. I would expect there to be misconduct that fell short of discipline, termination. And I would expect us to take corrective action.
I think it is often the case that discipline is insufficient or is certainly not designed to change the underlying behavior.
Bobby Hodgson is the supervising attorney at the New York Civil Liberties Union, suing New York State Police for the full release of these internal documents. He says there's a mountain of documentation out there with claims that are deemed unfounded. But he says no one knows about it, and no discipline has been imposed in those cases at all, which he says raises questions about the integrity of some of these officers and what might be hidden from view.
Oh gosh, well, I think it's vitally important. The police are public employees who are entrusted with the ability to arrest people, to use force. I think that means that they must be held to the highest standard, and there must be the highest level of transparency around the systems that are in place to investigate how they might be misusing that power.
The Troopers Union says, we believe unfounded and unsubstantiated complaints should not be released to the public. According to the Post-Journal, the Committee on Open Government supports keeping those documents hidden if there's an issue with privacy. Still, the NYCLU case is pending in state Supreme Court, but the fight for these documents is really nothing new. In 2020, state lawmakers repealed a law allowing law enforcement to hide personnel records. But since that time, state police have not widely released those records, often citing requests that are too broad or that the complaint was unfounded and didn't result in discipline. An I-team analysis of those internal documents reveals more than 1 in 4, 27% of troopers in Western New York have been disciplined in some capacity.
You're okay with that?
I am.
Why?
That means the Division of State Police takes the conduct of their members seriously. And if you break the rules, we punish you. We are not sweeping misconduct under the rug. In fact, we're documenting it.
The public would have no idea if an officer, a trooper, is disciplined, whether those claims were founded or unfounded, if not for the media coming forward, asking these questions.
Well, no, I would say the public would know about it if we didn't do it.
These internal documents are used by local district attorneys to test a trooper's credibility if they were to testify in court. But in Florida, for example, a public database is already available where you can see how police are disciplined and for what, shining light on what is otherwise in New York often kept in darkness.
Why not create a database that's public?
You know, that is a potential solution. But right now, we're undergoing the process of producing these records and getting them ready for the immediate need of the district attorney's office. That's the main focus right now.
As opposed to the public trust or the public?
Well, the public trust has got to be served by the investigations, by the discipline process, and ultimately, yeah, the production of records.
Bruin himself is now under investigation over how he's handed out discipline in the past. Prior to his resignation last week, the New York Post explained the governor's office was investigating Bruin after his former human resources director resigned. The Post reports that's part of an investigation into her handling of a job candidate who uses a wheelchair, and no discipline was doled out. Because there is no database on discipline, we've made one for you. With the records that we have, you can see for yourself who's been disciplined and the accountability that followed. Through our document deep dive, we've also learned in Jamestown, 2 officers were fired for filing false statements after finding a child hungry and barely breathing. Those officers did nothing about it. Our series on police accountability continues tomorrow night right here on 7 News at 6. For the I-Team, I'm Ed Dranch, 7 News.
And you can read through our I-Team's entire investigation. It's available right now on our website. There you will also find that complete database of the discipline files for State Police Troop A. That's all in this article, again available on WKBW.com. We encourage you to take a look. It's available for you there tonight.